What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be continuing doing our shop menu, but I actually forgot something over here in our little tab to filter. I have primary weapons, melee weapons, and I have sidearms, but I forgot we also going to have equipment like grenades or medikits or something like that. So I'm going to have to put that in really quick. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy one of the buttons. Control C, Control V. Okay. I'm gonna move it back because I want the text on the other side, and I'm gonna rename the button to button underscore equipment, and I'm gonna go and change the text to equipment as well, and I'm gonna have to create a new container. So I'm gonna Control C, Control V the sidearms container, and just name it equipment container. And that's everything that it's needed to. Okay, there you go. That's everything that is needed to have another tab. So it's really simple. Now I'm gonna have to go and let me see. I'm going to do the logic of the shop item first. So I'm going to go over here into the graph, and I'm going to set up some things that I'm going to need. First thing is going to be the item details, and I already have item details struct over here, and I'm going to show you I think it's by weapon details. I'm probably going to change the name of that. I'm gonna go ahead and do instance editable and expose on spawn because we're gonna change that on our shop menu. But I'm gonna go ahead and find that weapons. See weapon details, and now I have a lot of stuff over here that you can see. You can see the types, and if you want to copy this. So I have the name, the weapon thumbnail, where it's gonna go in 3D. So the socket name on our character skeleton, the magazine size, for firearms, the current ammo, etc. This is the damage that it does, the rate of fire, the ammo, if it is ammo, if the ammo type. And I actually have another, you're not going to find this if you actually search it, because I have a custom, what is called enum, with the ammo type, so I'm going to show you that in a minute as well. And I have another struct for the animations. A struct like this but with animations on it, and I have the class, and that class is master weapon, and I think I'm not going to use this. Actually I am. So this is going to be the class of the weapon that I want to spawn, so it's going to be fine. And let me just show you here in the default values what I was talking about. Is ammo, the ammo type, sorry. This is an enum. Right now I only have 9mm on it. I'm gonna have to change that because this is sci-fi and it's not going to work. But you can go over into the weapons type enum that I have. So I have over here the settings. I only have 3. So it's full auto, semi-auto, and pump bolt action. Sorry. And I think I'm actually going to change this because it's sci-fi. I don't think we're going to have this type of weapon. I'm just going to go ahead and put melee over here. So that's going to be fine. And now I'm going to need to find our ammo types because I'm going to want to change that as well. Let me go over here. Ammo types. You can create an enum if you don't know on right clicking, going into blueprints, and over here we have the enumerations, the enum, and the structures. That's the both things that I'm using to do this kind of list thing. And I'm going to go, and we have our 9mm type of ammo. And I'm gonna change we're not sure yet. We haven't decided what type of, ammunition we'll use because it's sci-fi. But I'm gonna go and I'm just gonna use standard sci-fi things, and we may change this later on. So I'm gonna go laser, plasma, and maybe projectile. Actually, projectile, incendiary, and projectile explosive, and I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. So we're gonna have lasers and plasma weapons. Then we're gonna have normal projectiles that have bullets that are incendiary and explosive. I think I'm gonna leave that for now. I think that's what we talked about, if I'm not mistaken. We might add more stuff, but the beauty of having things within structs and enums, if you have like shop items and a lot of blueprints using the same struct, you can go over here and just change it, and it's gonna change on every blueprint you have this on. So that's pretty powerful. We can change this kind of information every time we want. So that's pretty cool. And one thing that I'm gonna have to add over here. Actually, I don't need to add it over here, so that's going to be fine. Another thing that I'm going to need on the shop item is going to be another variable. I'm going to make this float. Oh, sorry. I'm going to call it cost. And it's going to have to be of the type float. And I'm again going to instance editable and expose on spawn. And now the reason that I'm exposing on spawn is now if we go back into our shop menu and we click over here on the user created, we're gonna have this expose over here in the default. So you can set up the item details of this specific item container or you know, item box thing. You can set up the details that we have on our structure over here, and we can have our animations and stuff that we can set up if we have custom animations for whatever we are buying. And we can change the class for the blueprint that we have. I only have the master weapon and M9. I'm going to delete the M9 because this is from another thing. We're not going to use it, but I think I'm going to use the master weapon, you know, to all that kind of information, to all the weapons and stuff. And then we're going to have our over here individual, where the hell is it? Okay, there you go. We're going to have our individual cost over here, which we can set up how much cost we have. And so now to set up the logic of the item, I'm going to have to go into the designer, and let me just make sure on the shop item, I'm going to make sure that all of these are variables. The name, this text, I need this to be a variable, so this is going to be the cost text. I'm going to need to make that a variable. This is not going to be needed. Well, I guess I can use the money variable that I'm going to have in our player character. If we do not have enough money to buy, I'm going to disable this button, so that's going to go well. And we're going to have this 3. Oh, actually we don't have this 2, so let's go and max size. And this variable, and the fire rate. Text, and I'm going to make it a variable. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. Now we just need to fill out this information. So I'm going to go into the graph. I'm going to go into the event construct. I'm going to start by getting our item name and setting the text. So what I'm going to be doing right now is basically I'm going to be picking every stat that I need to change based on the item we have, and I'm going to assign it the item details information that we have stored from our shop menu that we set up over here. So the name, I'm going to plug it over here. Let me see, the item image. We need to set the brush, and if I'm not mistaken, we need to make a slate brush. There you go. Then the image size, let's go into the designer and see what that is. 128 by 128. And then we just need to change the image to the weapon thumbnail. This case is going to be the item, but doesn't matter. And now I'm going to need to change, let's see. I mean, I'm going to change this stuff. It doesn't matter the order which we do it over in the code, so it's going to be fine. I'm going to set text to the max size, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to create something called append, because I'm going to need to change something. I'm going to have to append this magazine size integer to a text, and that's going to be the max size. Actually, because we're gonna have items and equipment, I'm gonna have to do a select on the, oh sorry, I'm gonna pick up the weapon type and I'm gonna do a select, and I'm gonna set that A. And now remember, I forgot a weapon type. So let me see, go back. This is the thing that is cool about having all of this stuff divided into different enums and stuff, is that now I can go over here and just type in equipment, because I forgot that's going to be a kind of a weapon type. If I go back and compile, you can see that now we have equipment over here. That's pretty cool. Now we can set up the initial text that we want based on the weapon type. So what we want to say over here in the max size. So if it's a weapon, any kind of weapon, we're going to want to have max size. So let me just Control C. If it's a melee weapon, I'm going to want this max size to basically be its health, so how much you can use that melee weapon before it gets destroyed or unused. So I'm going to set durability. And if it's an equipment, I'm going to say, well, basically how many times it can be used. So I can say uses, so how many uses does it get with that specific equipment. So if you buy a grenade, you only gonna have one use, but if you buy, for example, I don't know, a medikit, you're gonna be able to use it twice before it gets destroyed. So I think I'm gonna be doing that. Then I'm gonna be connecting B to the magazine size. And now this magazine size, depending if it's a weapon or a melee weapon or an equipment, this magazine size is gonna have different meanings. So that's gonna be pretty cool. And it's very easy to set up this way. Another thing, so we have our item name, item image, and max size. I'm going to set up the cost text, So I'm going to set the text. And this is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm going to do an append as well, just for, let me see. I'm going to drag the cost from over here and connect that into the B, actually the A, sorry. So let me just, and then I'm going to do a space, and then I'm going to use the dollar sign. No, that's not the dollar sign, I think. No, it's not. That'll happen. Oh, there you go. I'm going to use the dollar sign for now. We may change the currency later, as I expected in the last video. But I'm going to connect the return value into the text, and that's going to be it for now. Let me see. What do we have? The damage stat. So let's set the text. And I think that the damage stat is going to apply to most of the types of weapon, but I'm going to just Control C, Control V this. I guess I can Control C and Control V the append as well. Let's connect this to A, connect the return value to the in text. And let's see, the index is going to be the weapon type. Now you're going to have to say, well, the damage. So it's a full auto. I'm going to say exactly that, damage. Semi-auto is going to be damage as well. Melee, it also has a damage stat, so it's going to be the same. But if it's equipment, well, we're not sure. Depends on the type of equipment. If it's a grenade, it has damage. But if it's not a grenade, well, I'm thinking, like, imagine if you're using as equipment a grenade, it's gonna have a damage stat, but if you're using a medikit, it's not damage. It's how much health it gives you. So, well, now we don't really have, we can have to also divide the equipment types, but I don't really want to do that because that will be kind of unnecessary. So I'm thinking about an overall name that I can give over here. Sorry about that. Let me just pause and see. Okay, sorry about that, I'm back, and I think for the equipment I'm going to use for now, I probably in the future going to have to divide the item type, so like in another enum, but I'm not going to do that now because I don't really think we need that while developing. I'm just going to set up a value, so this is going to both work for if the actual equipment is going to have a damage stat or a health stat or whatever. I'm just going to put value for now. That's going to be fine. And for the B, I'm just going to connect it into the damage. And now, what's left? I have the damage stat, the cost stat, the max size. I have the image, and I need the fire rate, I think. That's the last one. So I'm going to set the text. Well, I'm going to need that appended again. And the select thing. Let's just connect that up. The B, let's connect it into the fire rate or the rate of fire. We just create a quick reroute node. There you go. And the index is going to be again the weapon type. Now you're going to have to decide what we do with this. So for the full auto, we're going to have a rate of fire. The semi-auto, we don't really have a rate of fire. I guess we can have like a, imagine if you're using a plasma weapon or something that like you is semi-auto, like you can click and shoot and you can make it a very powerful weapon, but you like make overheat, or you have to wait between each shot, so we cannot really spam the semi-auto button. So I'm gonna name this for the semi-auto, can I say rate of fire, because if it's semi-auto it doesn't really have rate of fire. I'm gonna say cooldown, cooldown time, I think. And the melee weapon, a rate of fire for a melee weapon, I'm gonna say, well, attack, I mean I'm gonna use like how quick can you swing and attack with a melee weapon. If it's a lighter weapon, it's gonna be quicker than like a heavy axe. It takes longer for you to attack. So I'm gonna say attack speed, I guess, or better than attack swing speed. That's better. And for the equipment rate of fire, I can have a cooldown timer. So you cannot use the equipment again if the cooldown is not, like, hasn't stopped working yet. So I'm gonna go into and say cooldown time. That's pretty much gonna be the same thing as the semi-auto. So I'm not sure about this name over here on the semi-auto. It doesn't sound good for a weapon to have like a cooldown time. You know what? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna say rate of fire, and then we'll see later on. Because rate of fire sounds better for weapons, even if it's semi-auto or not. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Now I'm gonna go into the button and just go into the designer, and I'm gonna have to enable or disable this button. I'm gonna create a bind on is enable, and what's gonna decide is going to be if the item details. Let's break this. Oh, actually no, we don't need that. And actually I'm just gonna close these guys down, because I'm gonna need to open our character. That's gonna be into our player car, and I'm gonna need to create a new variable over here. There's gonna be variables over there I'm gonna delete. Also, let me just pause and do that now. Okay, so I've deleted the variables that I think I'm not gonna need, and I left these. So I'm gonna create a new variable. I'm gonna call this, I guess I can call it, well, player currency. I'm not sure that's how you spell currency, but it's okay. I'm gonna make that a float, and just to make sure, I'm gonna make it replicated, because we might need to give that information to other players. Probably not, but I'm going to leave it replicated. It doesn't cost much to have a float replicating, so I'm going to do that. And I'm just going to set up a default. It's for testing purposes, so I'm gonna give it 1,000. So we'll figure out these values when we're testing out the actual game. But now that we have this variable, we can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the owner, or the owning player, I guess, owning player pawn. I'm going to cast to our player character. I'm going to go right click and convert to a pure cast, and I'm going to get the player currency. Well, is this player currency bigger than the cost? Actually, no. I'm going to need to go and do the player currency minus the cost, and this is going to need to be bigger than 0. If it is bigger than 0 or equal to 0, that means we have enough money. If it's smaller, so if we have 100, we're going to buy an item that costs 150. This value will be minus 50, so we don't have enough money, so we return false. If we have 200, buy one that costs 50, we're going to have 150, so this will be bigger than 0, so it will be turned true, and we're going to be able to buy that. So I think that's going to be it. And now, probably I'm not going to do more in this video, so I don't want the videos to be very big. But in the next video, I'm going to be doing the actual buy logic. So you're going to have to find a way to all the information of whatever items we bought, and whether they're equipments or inventory weapons. So I'm probably going to have over in the player character some kind of slots, or some place that we can all the information of the weapon we have equipped, our secondary weapon, the melee weapon, and our sidearm, and then any equipment. And I have like equipment 1, equipment 2, so we have like 2 slots for equipment or whatever. And I'm gonna have to create variables for those, and then when we buy, we basically store that information in the player. So that's gonna be for the next video. I think I'm not forgetting something. Well, something that we're gonna need to do is actually fill in these gaps, but I'm gonna do that in the next video as well, because I don't really have any items in mind. I'm gonna go and talk to my group to know about that. So yeah, hopefully that's gonna be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any doubts or you have any work for me or something like that, I have a Discord server in the description. Check that out. You can join and talk to me, whatever you want. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.